Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. Also live on myjoyonline.com. We are live in all 16 regions. We are on Amenuveve FM in Naflau. We are on Gangai FM in Jirapa and A1 Radio in Bolgatanga. We are live on X Spaces. You're on Facebook. The Midday News is proudly sponsored by Petrol Sol. Your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We're the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water always flows. This afternoon, Ghana's Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabing to be impeached. Details as the Chief Justice considers a petition filed by his predecessor Martin Amidu over alleged denigration of the judiciary, procurement and other breaches.
When I was sworn in, and in my life, when I take on the reins to do something, I do it to the best of my ability. They say I'm a unkwanoma, me me cry abo afore. Me ye de me to me. Emre so a eko.
We'll walk you through the grounds upon which the special prosecutor can be removed. But can the Chief Justice be neutral in this matter, knowing that one of the charges against Kisie Jabing is his alleged denigration of the judiciary?
It throws up a bit of a problem here, but we can only trust that there are people who rise above personal stuff and can be professional in their conduct.
We'll get to hear from some anti-corruption campaigners who are unhappy about the development.
I will not participate in any form or shape in the removal of my successor from office.
It seems to me that from day one, Martin Benkai Amidu appeared to have been on a vendetta.
I'll take you live to Parliament as well. Force development on this. Also, the National Labour Commission cautions pre-tertiary teachers about how the threats and protests could derail negotiations, which resumes today.
I think they have to look at it because they are attacking their own leaders. They are not attacking anybody. So I think the demonstration seems to be more directed at the integrity of their leaders who are doing it on their behalf.
And there's sports.
The English Premier League title race goes down to the final day, and will it be Manchester City or Thomas Partey's Arsenal lifting the trophy?
And much later, it's World Hypertension Day, and you may want to rethink your decision to bleach your skin, as medical experts warn some medications and creams for bleaching can contribute to high blood pressure.
Creams that they use to become fair have a lot of steroids in it, mercury in it. When you absorb some of these steroids into your system for a long period of time, that will lead to the hypertension.
We have details of that and more here on the Midday News. I am Emefa. Apawu, please stay on. And this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. We dig in now, and he was appointed special prosecutor on August 5, 2021 for a 7-year mandate. But Kisie Jabing could be out of that office soon following a petition filed by his predecessor Martin Amidu demanding his impeachment over alleged denigration of some judges, procurement and some other breaches. The petition, dated April 30, 2024, was sent to the president and conveyed to the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu on May 6, 2024. My colleague and presidential affairs correspondent Elton Brobe joins me in studio with more on this particular story. So, Elton, what may have gotten Kisie Jabing into trouble, you'd say?
Remember that 5 months ago he held a news conference where he had issues with some judges that came to them when they appeared before the courts, and we can listen to his concerns then.
The duty and mandate of the courts is to apply and enforce the laws of the Republic, and not to grant persons immunity from criminal investigations and prosecution. A court cannot injunct the OSP from investigating or prosecuting any person. The decision to investigate and prosecute lies with the investigation and prosecution authorities, such as the OSP, and the OSP has at all material times carried out its power to investigate with candor and professionalism, being minded of the rights of suspects under its investigation. It is also of the utmost importance that the judiciary should not interfere with investigation and prosecution authorities in respect of matters which are within their statutory powers. It will be gravely inimical to public policy, the fight against corruption, and the administration of justice, if the court stepped into this arena to decide who should be investigated, who should be prosecuted, and who should not. That is not the function of adjudication. I do not intend to sound as though I am predicting doom. But we are facing doom. And this is it. When I was sworn in, and in my life, when I take on the reins to do something, I do it to the best of my ability. They say, I'm a unkwanoma, but they make cry about for it.
So it appears as these comments and more that got him to where he is today. But brief us on what is contained in Martin Amidu's petition to the president.
So according to what we have gathered, Martin Amidu is alleging procurement breaches in the purchase of vehicles for the office of the special prosecutor, abuse of judges and the administration of justice, violation of citizens' right through arrest and detention, violation of citizens' right to information, as well as appointment of personnel to the office. Now, Joy News gathers that, as required by Article 146 of the Constitution, the Chief Justice is in the process of deciding if there is a case to set up a committee to impeach Mr. Ajabem. Amidu is also, for instance, alleging that the OSP, by holding a news conference, which we just played, to complain about the conduct of the judiciary, amounts to abusing judges and bringing the judiciary into disrepute. This impeachment process comes after earlier reports the OSP had declined demands to resign and rather held that news conference 5 months ago. Mr. Amidu also says by arresting persons such as Sisi Adapa and Professor Mpom, the special prosecutor abused their rights. He also alleges that a violation of citizens' right to information when he, Martin Amidu, requested for appointment letters and salaries of all staff of OSP to be put on a pen drive for him but disregarded by the OSP amounts to abuse of his office.
That's interesting, but do we know if the Chief Justice has since written to the SP just yet?
So a letter we've just intercepted dated 16th of May 2024, just yesterday, and is addressed to the Honorable Kisi Jaben, Office of the Special Prosecutor, and the title is Writ Petition by Martin Alamisi Amidu for the removal of Honorable Kisi Jaben from office as Special Prosecutor, pursuant to Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutors Act 2017 at 959. This is forwarded to you a copy of petition dated 30th April and sent to the Office of the President, which was forwarded to the Office of the Honorable Lady Justice on the 6th of May 2024. Kindly provide your comments to the matters raised whenever the Honorable Chief Justice determine if a case has been made out. I thank you and please accept my compliments. And this is signed by Justice Gertrude Seki Tokonu, Chief Justice of the Republic.
Well, you've also been doing some digging on Martin Amidu's website. What did we find?
So before, if you take a look at martinamiduspeaks.com, this is a website where you will find most of his articles. There are at least 19 articles written by Mr. Martin Amidu about Kisi Jaben. And some of the headlines, Office of Special Prosecutor turned into an incarnation of Matarism. There are ones like the SP blackmail government, House prosecution of former government. Let's hear Chief Justice on Kisi Jaben joint statement before rushing to judgment. And there's this particular one. Kisi Jaben must be impeached for scandalizing the administration of justice. And this is dated December 4th, 2023. So, there are 19 articles, some impugning on his personal integrity and in the office of the special prosecutor.
And in all this, do we have a reaction from the SP himself?
Well, there is no official reaction as of now, but what we do understand that the OSP are planned to hold a news conference next week to announce some new investigation that it is embarking on. It's unclear whether this news conference will come on. But persons close to the office have spoken to say that nothing has changed and they will still hold this news conference next week to announce some new investigations that they have embarked on and they want to communicate to the public.
Well, that's my colleague Elton Brobe, Presidential Affairs Correspondent, giving us details. Of course, he'll be on the polls at 3 p.m. on the Joy News channel, and more will be uncovered right there. Now, if a prima facie case is established against the Special Prosecutor Kisi Jaben, the Chief Justice shall within 14 days set up a committee consisting of a chairperson who is a Justice of the Supreme Court, a lawyer of at least 15 years standing at the bar, and one other person with expertise in investigations. Now, one of the claims against the Special Prosecutor is alleged denigration of the judiciary. So how impartial can the Chief Justice Committee be? Private legal practitioner Samson Ladia Nyeneni and host of Newsfile has some concerns.
Well, it wasn't contemplated. This is in the law. We will have to trust that judges or the judiciary accommodates criticism. And when the criticism is such that there's evidence to it, it is not taking and there's not a ganging up. It sounds like a bit of a peculiar situation. The rule of natural justice has two legs. One says you should be given a fair hearing, meaning you should not be condemned without being heard. The next says a person should not be a judge in their own cause, which means if you are the one affected, you should not sit on the panel to judge the person who is accused. So that throws up a bit of a problem here. You are right about it. It throws up a bit of a problem here, but we can only trust that there are people who rise above personal, stuff and can be professional in their conduct.
Well, this has actually triggered a lot of reaction, and law lecturer Bobby Bansing is unconvinced about the charges against Kisi Ejabing.
I'm sure that Mr. Amidu must have attached evidence of these so-called grounds for removal to enable the Chief Justice to make a prima facie case. So the mere mention of those things in the petition without, for example, if you say that there has been procurement breaches, I expect that he must be detailed with the evidence. If it was mere, like we see in his epistles, what he writes without attaching evidence that will shift the burden of Mr. Ejabing, perhaps the Chief Justice will come to the conclusion that there is no prima facie case. But moving from that, the Office of the Special Prosecutor is an institution that Ghana, by virtue of international treaties we have signed, is obliged to have. So it is not as if it was a mere campaign promise. And so if we are treating this office, for lack of a better way, like Chaskele, everybody can throw shades by virtue of the personality occupying it. We are undermining the institution that we are creating to fight our biggest problem as a country. Our biggest problem as a country is corruption. Nobody would dispute that.
Well, former Auditor General Daniel Yao Domelovo is unhappy. Martin Amidu is behind the petition.
Once you fight corruption, corruption will fight you back using any means available. So that is not a surprise to me at all. So the story behind the story is difficult for all of us to know. Where it's coming from is what surprises me because, Martin is my very good friend and we have different values. Anyway, I will not participate in any form or shape in the removal of my successor from office. In fact, in his case, even I can say that he resigned. I don't think Kisi Ejabing played any role in it. I suspect the one who succeeded me had a role to play in my removal.
Well, a member of the African Union Advisory Board Against Corruption, Edem Senanu, also shares these concerns.
It seems to me that from day one, Martin Benkai Amidu appeared to have been on a vendetta. It looked like nobody should occupy that office who is able to do much more or shine more than me, You can't call the president and the presidency the mother serpent of all corruption in one breath, and in the next breath be writing to the same institutions and saying somebody else should be removed and believing and apparently trusting those same institutions. Kind of flip-flopping leaves us with the impression that you can change your stand at any time on issues. Some of the things you've mentioned, speaking against the judges, I find incredulous. I mean, if office holders as high up as the OSP cannot speak their minds when they think something is going wrong. And for me, I thought that was important because the judiciary responded. The Chief Justice then reached out and said, let's have discussions.
And this issue has got Parliament talking after they were recalled today. And Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us on the line. Kweku, let's talk about the reaction to the petition against Kisi Ejabing in Parliament.
Well, Emefa, the majority are a bit touched about this situation. A lot of them speaking to me off the record say that for Kisi Ejabing, exactly what is happening to him, something right because of certain actions that he has taken. But two majority MPs who have gone on the record. First, Ahmed Ibrahim said that the president is not acting right by the way he has forwarded the petition to the Chief Justice. But particularly, Alassane Suhuyini is the one who talks about the president selectively sending petitions to remove certain persons from office while sitting on certain petitions that have been filed against Madam Jim Mensah, for instance.
Are longer on his table that he has never, even though there are other petitions involving his favorites that are longer on his table that he has never even responded to. So clearly, it is going to serve the interest of the president, and maybe the special prosecutor has touched some of his favorites, and we know how he clears his favorites and how he celebrates them. In the case of Madam Cicely Adapa, even before investigations, went into the matter, we saw the love letter that he wrote expressing his confidence in Madam Cicely Adapa, and for the special prosecutor to dare disagree with his thinking. It should not be about the special prosecutor or Martin Amidu. It should be about the conduct of the president and how selective he is when it comes to transmitting petitions.
See, when Martin Amidu said the president himself is the mother serpent of corruption, and it was as a result of what the special prosecutor office has generated. So now, I cannot be following the special prosecutor and be blaming him. Ghanaians have built confidence in the special prosecutor. Most people now, if they have kids, they will send you to special prosecutor. You see people trembling. So even the president himself is afraid of the special prosecutor, and that's why he did not even hesitate. Once he got the document, then he sent it. What are you trying to run away from?
Some reactions there in Parliament, but quickly, substantively, is the House in session now? What exactly is the agenda?
We expect the Speaker of Parliament to walk in any moment from now. The leadership have been called to his office, just adjoining the chamber. And the three main agenda that the House is expected to consider, the recall of the House, is the ministerial approval. There's also the matter of loans and the matter of tax waivers. I've seen a rather very bulky order paper for today that journalists haven't gotten a copy yet. But a number of MPs already in their numbers, the majority and the minority side, for what is going to be a battle of a sitting to the Emefa.
That's a Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante. Now on to some other stories now. A middle-aged man has been arrested at the Kotoka International Airport after lighting cigarettes on board a Qatar Airways passenger flight. Flight attendants there were seen in heated exchanges just before the flight, which had made a stop in Abidjan, could take off, causing delays and a scare for scores of passengers on board. Joy News editor Fred Smith is one of these passengers, joins us on the line with more on this. Fred, what really happened?
Well, indeed, I joined the flight from Doha in Qatar, and I'm made to understand that it started from Sharjah near Dubai. This man was on board, but never showed any signs until Cote d'Ivoire. We got to Abidjan, and he wanted to get off the flight. Meanwhile, his trip was to Accra, so people didn't understand why he wanted to do so. He was appealed, the appeals were made to him to take his seat. He did, but not long after that, we saw the flight attendants in heated engagement with him, and we got to understand later that it's because he had gone to light cigarettes in the washroom on board that aircraft, and that delayed the flight a lot. Following that, I had engagement with one passenger who sat very close to him, and he said it was actually the second time that he had gone to light a cigarette. We can listen to him.
Na de si ene se na mai na no e ne na tim Kata wono no firi Kata na eba no firi Kata eba no ana wono no e smoky ba chawan o le smoky ba chawan
No smoky wine.
o le smoky no for washroom.
Okay. Also, I didn't know cabin no man. I said,
o peja smoky no.
Okay.
O fire no and o the for washroom.
So, Fred, how did the airline then handle this whole matter?
Well, they declined comment on it, but we saw that they delayed the disembarkment and ensured that the police picked him up. And so the man is currently with the police. Investigations are ongoing. The challenge for many passengers was that there are systems on the aircraft to trigger an alarm if someone lights a cigarette inside the washroom. But indeed, that did not happen, even though the man went there twice to smoke there.
That's Joy News editor Fred Smith there. Now, National Labour Commission NLC is cautioning teachers to cease their threats and protests, stressing that such actions will only jeopardize ongoing negotiations with government. A series of protests began in the eastern and central region days ago to force government to quickly conclude talks on its demand for better working conditions, which has dragged for months.
We've been having series of meetings, but as we speak, we've not been able to make any headway. In the new agreement, we have tabled 4 allowances. One of them is an existing one. The 3, though one is also an existing one, it had never been implemented. So there are 2 new allowances we have introduced. And we expect government to accept them, and then negotiation will kickstart on that.
By the mediator, the National Labour Commission is urging them to step back from the aggressive stance to allow their leaders to facilitate talks so that both parties can reach a mutually beneficial agreement.
This is invidious of the powers given to them to negotiate. It undermines the authority if you have been put in front to do something on behalf of your people. And whilst you are engaged in it, they are demonstrating against you. I mean, it goes to show some level of mistrust. They don't believe you can give them a good deal. They believe that the power given to you is not being properly administered to their advantage. I think they have to look at it because they are attacking their own leaders. They are not attacking anybody. So I think the demonstration seems to be more directed at the integrity of their leaders who are doing it on their behalf. So I think the leadership must deal with it and to restore the confidence of their people.
Well, ahead of the meeting, Director of Grievances and Negotiations at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Professor Charles Opowadabo, denied that an IMF conditionality is stalling the proceedings and hope that negotiations will conclude after today's meeting. Let's monitor today's meeting. And Mami Sinyamiche Thompson, what have we gathered?
So, Emefa, this morning, indeed, the teachers met with representatives from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and also the Finance Ministry and the Education Ministry to discuss the issues at hand. And from what I have heard from my sources, the talks were quite cordial and they managed to make some progress. The government has put forward some proposals addressing the teachers' demand, and now it's up to the teachers to now review these proposals and come back with their own counter proposals, and that the meeting has been adjourned for now, giving the teachers time to discuss these proposals that the government has made with their members, and then they will reconvene and at a later date to continue the negotiations.
Thank you very much, Mami Sinyamiche Thompson, with that refreshing voice, will take you to the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Love 99.5 FM, also on myjoyonline.com. The midday news made possible by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. We return from the break with sport. And as the world marks Hypertension Day, you may want to rethink your decision to bleach your skin, as medical experts warn some bleaching creams can cause hypertension.
Creams that they use to become fair have a lot of steroids in it, mercury in it. When you absorb some of these steroids into your system for a long period of time, that will lead to the hypertension.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
December is just around the corner and our nation stands at a crossroads. Will we continue down the same path or will we forge a new one together? The choice is ours, but we need every voice to be heard. That is why the New Force is investing time and resources to educate and encourage everyone about the voters' ID card registration. To all of you out there unsure if your vote matters, your voice matters. Your vote is your power and your opportunity to shape the future of our motherland. Don't let others decide for you. Don't stay silent. Get up, Get out there and get your voter's ID card today. Make sure you are ready to make a difference when the time comes. Don't delay. Act now. From the 7th to the 27th of May and on the 30th of May, you can replace all missing ID cards. Every vote counts. Your vote, your destiny. A message from Nana Kwame Bediako and the New Force.
Showtime! Good life time! Paddy, how is your good life?
Hey, before you attack that sumptuous variety of foods with Toto, do yourself a favor.
Wash your hands with soap under running water, your bowl before you eat, and at all other critical moments. That is,
before you cook, after you visit the toilet, change your baby's diaper,
and when you return home from anywhere.
Let's all come aboard Good Life by washing our hands with soap under running water and at all other critical moments to keep the germs away from our family. Good Life, live it well. It's an everyday thing. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and partners with support from USAID.
This is the Midday News. Time for sports. Mubarak.
Emefa, so the English Premier League promises a nail-biting end to the season on Sunday, and its advantage Manchester City at the top of the table. The defending champions are 2 points above Arsenal and know a victory over West Ham will seal a 4th straight title. But City boss Pep Guardiola is wary of Ghana's Mohamed Kudus and his teammates.
The most famous goal in our club from Sergio Aguero scored 93 20 minutes of QPR. We were 1-2 down 89 minutes more or less. So now it's Kudus, Bo and Antonio, set pieces, channels, and we could not expect less. So we have to win one more game to retain the title.
Yes, and Arsenal will also be aiming to see off Everton to capitalize on any slip-up from Manchester City. Here's their boss, Mikel Arteta.
We have a beautiful day ahead of us on Sunday, and hopefully the magic can happen. We have to do our deal, and we know what we need in order to be champions, and let's do that. And now is about, okay, moving forward, how can we continue to do that or better?
And there'll be more analysis on game plan at 1:15 p.m. with Fentio Tahiru Fentio.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, if you're thinking of enhancing your complexion or your body parts, you may want to think twice about the decision because professionals are warning some bleaching and body enhancement products have the potential of causing hypertension. Well, we can listen to Emmanuel Bright-Kweku of our science desk interacting with nephrologist Dr. Elliot Cranton-Tano on some possible causes and risks of hypertension as the world marks the day.
With varied reasons for the skin enhancements, many people seek after various skincare creams and other medications like pills to have their desired light skin. But it is imagined that skin bleaching creams and pills can potentially cause hypertension. Dr. Elliot Cranton-Tano is a kidney disease expert at the Confanote Teaching Hospital.
Some of these creams that they use to become fair have a lot of steroids in it, mercury in it, and they have hydroquinone. What they don't know is that they say, oh, I'm just applying it to my skin. They are very small vessels that are in the skin, so it is invariably absorbed into your system. When you absorb some of these steroids into your system for a long period of time, of course, that is what causes them to bleach. That will lead to the hypertension. So steroids directly is the cause of hypertension.
Disturbingly, some expectant mothers have caught on the vogue as they take in medications in attempt to bleach their unborn babies.
Another thing that I also heard, very interesting, that nowadays women actually take prednisolone, PE they call it, and now it is not just to make themselves fair, but I heard that now people even use it to make when they are pregnant, so their children will become fairer.
Skin bleaching is only one of the many causes and risk factors of high blood pressure.
Hypertension exists, and if we are told we have, it's not a death sentence. If we take our medications and exercise, cut down on our salt and eat well and all of that, chances are that we will not get the complications and we will live our lives to the full.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Kweku.
And it's time for M&J.
Yes.
She won't bleach, I won't bleach.
I
so
know,
no
right?
hypertension for us. But what are people talking about on social media?
Well, Emefa, special prosecutor, is trending. People have been sharing their thoughts on the petition to remove Kisi Ejaben. So this comment reads looks like President Akufo-Addo has handed off the
in court, kissing booth dilemma to the Chief Justice. Let's see if this special prosecutor will get a special pardon or a case closed stamp. That's what people have been talking about. But then there's another conversation. Some days ago, the Dr. Baumia was trending, our vice president, and he was dancing to a song titled Funny Form by DJ
This
Azonto.
one?
Yeah. This morning, DJ Azonto, under a label called Rolls Royce, are demanding a compensation for $10 million. And people have been reacting to it. They are saying that Baumia used the song on a political platform. And some of the comments, this one says that, did Rolls Royce sue him for putting their name on such a letter? And this one also says that, facts, he has every right to sue him due to political campaign reasons. This last comment says, DJ they play song, someone they dance to, they won't sue.
Well, we're out of here, and the ice that Kweku is giving you. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com, and Special Prosecutor Kisieja being facing impeachment. That's and more on myjoyonline.com. Funny form.